Hello, everyone. Good day. So this is just a demonstration of how the analytics dashboard would look like for low-cost private schools. So I picked this just to do an illustration or proof of concept for how we would create dashboards for institutions or organizations as in when they need it. So I created or I asked Claude AI to generate 2,000 plus rows of students from various institutions so that I would do some analytics on that. So to begin with, why do we actually need, to do analytics? So basically, we need the analytics to have a comprehensive or an overview of what data or what the data is saying, what the data is speaking. And it's very important. It really matters because it actually helps you speak decision making. And you can actually take some actions or make some informed decisions based on the data. And it works basically by giving you an overview based on your metrics or your KPIs and other stakeholders that are part of the organization, basically. And so that's just what usually we use data analytics for the dashboard for. And I would try to demo one very soon. So for this one, I created just 4 features. So we have the home, which gives the overview of everything. Basically, it just gives you statistics about the schools and the students. And we have the KPI. So the KPIs is more um, specialized or contextualized, for lack of a better word, to the organization that you are working or you are creating the dashboard for. So they will have their KPIs or their metrics, the things that they use to measure success or things that are important to the organization. So based on that, you create a dashboard for them so that they will be able to measure their KPIs, basically. Now, every organization has stakeholders, so it's also important to bring the stakeholders in the loop and understand their pain points as well, and then also use the data to capture, how they are actually being affected by the organization. Now we have all these data at our hand and all the user journeys and the personas and the stakeholders. What is most important also is to be able to make decisions out of the data. And so there should also be an insight section where you can actually have recommendations based on the data that you have. So without much further ado, I would just go and do the demo. So if you have a phone, you could also scan the QR code and test it on your mobile app. It works on laptop and mobile app as well. So I would just click on this one to show how it works. So I've already hosted this dashboard. Disclaimer, the data here, it's a dummy data. It's not representative of any school. So just to show, just for proof of concept, that's why I just choose a dummy data. So this is the dashboard that gives you a comprehensive understanding, just an overview of every uh, um, information that you need at a glance, just to see what is going on. So you could see like student enrollment, because this is more tailored about private schools. We could see student enrollments, the pass rate, the male to female ratio, like the percentage, and also like faculty quality index. Basically, You can also look at the teacher to student ratio and how that also affects infrastructure as well. So this is more tailored to SDG goals. So imagine that our KPIs is mostly about SDG goals. Then we would also see just a summary of all of that here in the home, right? So this is like summary. We also see how much each school is firing, basically based on the metric that you have. Now, as I said earlier, the KPIs is more about SDG goals. So I will assume it's just an assumption that the SDG goals that is being the SDG goals that we are focusing on is SDG 1, 4, and 5. Now we go to the KPIs, you get more insight into each particular key performance index. And so you look at all of that to see or to get more insights, basically. And so you have your KPIs and you know how the organization is actually performing. Now, as I said, bringing the stakeholders in. So the stakeholders here would be the schools, the parents, right? Those who are actually being affected by, the kind of service that you are offering. So imagine this is a Ghana Education Service, or this is a private consulting company for low-cost private schools. Then this dashboard would actually help them to make decisions. So the stakeholders here will be like the schools, and it also gives a summary of how they are faring. So at a glance, you would know which particular user needs more support based on the data that you have. Now, as I said, if you have all the data and you can make these informed decisions, then that data is underutilized. So for insights part, it's also relevant for organizations to be able to make informed decisions out of the data. So based on the nature or based on the information you are getting from the data, you just use that to get recommended actions based on that particular key performance index metrics that you are using, right? And so, as I said, we are focusing on SDGs, then you would have these recommendations, right, popping up. Now, for like a short and long-term strategic planning or recommendation, you'd also have to be able to, like the dashboard should be able to suggest, action plans for the organization, both short-term and long-term, and that is also relevant, and that falls under insights. So this is essentially how I would be creating dashboards for organizations that we'll be working with. Um, and also, as I said, the insights and the KPIs are specialized or they are just focused. It's dependent on the organization that you are working with. It depends on their KPIs as well. And so the dashboard will not look the same. However, aspects like some statistics are very, common or general among dashboards that you create for various organizations. Thank you very much.